It's Friday, and it's Weather for Weather Geeks time. Sometimes we don't do Weather for Weather Geeks on Fridays when the weekend weather promises to be really quiet, like last weekend, but I thought I'd do a video this evening because I have a lot of interesting things to show you, both in terms of our past weather and what we should encounter as we go into the weekend and beyond. So let's get right to it. I thought I would do kind of a midsummer halftime report here. We're halfway through summer and a couple of weeks removed from the halfway point of 2018. I thought I would look at the temperature trace at the Youngstown Warren Airport so far this year. A few things really jumped to your attention here. Remember how cold the year started. It was bitterly cold on New Year's Day and into the first week of the year. Actually, 2017 also ended on a very cold note. That was a really cold stretch between Christmas and the first week of the new year. Look how wild January was, though. We had, a few days here where it was 25 degrees below average, and then we had a day where it was 30 above average not long after that. And actually, the second half of January wasn't that bad. It was just the first half that was very, very cold. Also, a cold start to February and a big turnaround in the second half of February. It was a very, very warm February for the second year in a row. We paid the price, though, in March and April. Look at all the below average days, and then look at May. There was count them one, cooler than average day in the month of May. June and July have been closer to average, but still on the plus side, above average in terms of temperatures. Just not as extreme as February was and May was. Kind of a year of extremes so far. Extreme cold, extreme warmth, I should say, in February, and then very, very cold weather compared to average early on in the spring. All right, back here in meteorological summer, June, July, and August. This is kind of our halftime report here. Let me get out of the way of the numbers here. 2.5 degrees above average through roughly the first half of summer. Of course, we'll hit the halfway point this weekend, but through today's date, 2.5 degrees above average. That puts it as the warmest summer so far since 2012, but nowhere near the top of the record books. Those summers back in the 30s and 40s are fairly untouchable. It was remarkably warm several of those summers. As far as rainfall goes, we're sitting at 6.2 at the Youngstown Warren Airport. That's about a half an inch above average. That's for the summer so far, but the last couple of weeks have been pretty dry. Back here in the temperature department, we're talking about 8 to 90 degree days so far. That's about average for an entire season. We might tack on our 9th 90 degree day for 2018. Tomorrow, I have a high of 91 in the forecast. All right, this was our summer forecast put out at the end of May, right around Memorial Day. We were calling for temperatures to end up near average for the summer, rainfall to be near to slightly above average. I like where we're sitting so far in this. This may end up being right. We've still got half the summer to go. Certainly the first half has been a little on the warm side. Nothing crazy unusual or anything, but yeah, certainly a little on the warm side. And we'll see how it pans out in the end. I wanted to show you, let me grab this graphic. I wanted to show you how dry it's been over the last couple of weeks, though. Despite running a deficit, or a surplus, I should say, for summer so far, we've been running some deficits so far in July. Most of the rain's been up here in the upper Midwest so far during the month of July. Back here at home at the Youngstown Warren Airport, we've only had 0.06 of an inch through the first almost 2 weeks of the month, and we probably won't add any tomorrow. That's not very much rain. And so we're getting close to almost 2 inches below average at the airport, and you can see in our general TV viewing area here, very few areas, just a couple of exceptions, maybe northern Mercer and down in southern Lawrence counties. Those are the only places that are running a little bit of a surplus so far in July. Here's today's numbers. We hit 88 this afternoon, just one shy of our forecast of 89. The record today, 102, the second warmest record in our official record books at the airport. Back in 1936, 103 is the warmest temperature ever recorded here. All right. Today we had just a classic summer-looking sky. Started with sunshine, then some cumulus clouds started to bubble up, and then as we got towards sunset, those started to fade away. Pretty easy to pick out where some low-level moisture is starting to increase by that cumulus field. You look west of that cumulus field, it wasn't as humid today in places like Mansfield and Columbus, and they had a perfectly clear sky for a lot of the day. When I plot up the dew points, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, it's not a huge difference, but it's just enough to prevent cumulus from forming out across I-71 and points west. With dew points more in the mid-60s here, that's where our cumulus clouds started to pop up this afternoon. They have since dissipated, and here's where the really muggy area is out across the Mississippi Valley. No surprise. All right, little astronomy geeks for you this evening with a clear sky. Another fine evening to check out an array of planets in the sky. From left to right, Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, in the early evening sky, not long after sunset. If you wait until 10:30, 11, 11:30, you'll see Mars out across the southeastern sky. Mars getting close to opposition here in 2 weeks, and it is really bright, and it is red. You can plainly see the orange-red color of Mars. It doesn't look like the other planets. The other planets just look like bright stars. Mars definitely looks more like Mars, a planet. Over the weekend, here's what we can expect. We've got a new moon tonight. Tomorrow, just a razor-thin crescent moon will rise right around sunset, and just after sunset, if you look just below that thin crescent moon, you'll see a little dot, and that is Mercury. We oftentimes have a hard time seeing Mercury. It usually is very low to the horizon, and of course it's a tiny planet, but we should be able to see it low in the western sky tomorrow evening. Then Sunday evening, the moon's going to ditch Mercury and pair up with Venus. This will be in the sky a little bit longer than tomorrow evening's Mercury moon pairing. The Venus moon pairing will be up there for a little while and a little higher in the sky Sunday evening. And instead of being under the moon, Venus will be to the left of the moon. So check that out this weekend. All right, so as far as the weather back here on Earth this weekend, hot weather is our story tomorrow. We'll get to 90 or 91 tomorrow afternoon. Mix of sun and clouds. No wet weather tomorrow. Might be a shower or a thunderstorm tomorrow night. Now Sunday, far from a washout. It's going to be a little bit cloudier, kind of a chaotic sky probably. I like to call it variable cloudiness on days like this. And occasionally there might be a shower or even a thunderstorm, but I think there's more dry time than wet time on Sunday. Monday could be kind of a similar day, and then Monday night into Tuesday morning as this front finally swings through. That's probably our wettest period, and some good things happening behind that front. So dew points on Tuesday, these are kind of midday dew points. I think they'll fall quickly in the afternoon. It should be a great Tuesday evening. And what a great day we have coming up on Wednesday. Dew points back in the 50s like we were earlier on this week. So some good news there. And I keep showing you the 8 to 14 day outlook this week because I like it. Not looking at a very hot pattern at all. Now, does this mean it's going to be chilly? No, we're in the middle of summer. A little below average means probably a lot of days with highs in the upper 70s and lower 80s. But I don't see it as a pattern where it's going to produce a lot of upper 80s and 90s like we had today and like we'll have tomorrow. So that's kind of the trends as we go through the second half of July. Hope you have a great weekend, everyone. I'll see you back here for a fresh edition of Weather for Weather Geeks Monday evening. If you're up early this weekend, make sure you check out the debut of Chris Sarinelli, who will be doing our weekend morning weather starting this weekend on WFMJ Weekend Today. And if you're more of a late riser, meteorologist AJ Harris will have you covered at 6 and 11 on 21 News.